I got a bit of a riddle for you. Why were ships made out of wood for most of human history? Why did they make ships out of wood until pretty recently? Especially when they already had metal. Like there was already iron workers, they already had metal, iron, steel. Why did they make ships out of wood? It was because wood floated. And they thought you needed to make ships out of things that float. Today, we make ships out of things that don't float. We make them out of metal. All the different types of metal, iron, steel, all the different types. None of that stuff floats. But we never make boats out of wood anymore. Why? Because we discovered the law of flotation. And Thomas Troward has a quote. He says, "The law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things." The law of flotation wasn't discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. And the law of manifestation is not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. It is not discovered by the contemplation of the stinking of things in your life, right? Instead of the sinking, the stinking. So the law of flotation, not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. We bring that into your reality. The money you want is not discovered by the contemplation of its absence. The love you want, the relationships you want, whatever it is that you desire, that you want, the reality that you want, the things that you desire in your life, they do not manifest. They do not become real by the contemplation of the things that stink, that are sinking in your life. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make this ancient law work for you to make things come into your life quicker, easier, and more importantly, more gracefully. Because there's no hard effort in the law of flotation. It just works. Like there's no effort in the law of gravity. It just works. And there's no effort, there's no force that is needed in the laws of creation either. And it's time that we use them. But first, before we dive into this video, my name's Jake with JakeDucey.com. I want to thank you for being here. If you're new here, thanks for clicking on this video. If you're a returner, thanks for coming back. If you're ready to create your reality, give me a comment down below that says, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. It's like SpongeBob. I don't know if you know what SpongeBob is. Depends how old you are. But when I was a kid, we watched SpongeBob, and he used to always say, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, 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 ready. So if you're ready, give me a comment down below, I'm ready. And if you haven't yet, I have a free success hypnosis MP3. Well over 1 million people from all over the world have used it. It's free every day. I get these epic stories, people that attract money out of nowhere, get a job after they've been struggling to find one, attract a new romantic relationship, sell a house that was on the market for forever. It's free. I should charge, I don't know, $5, $10 for it. Over 1 million people. That'd be, I don't know, I would have made another $5 or $10 million. But I get all these epic stories every single day. And so I just give it away for free. It's going to reprogram your subconscious mind. It literally takes 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes a day. All you do is just listen to it. You don't have to do anything. It will reprogram your subconscious, eliminate old negative belief systems, old patterns, paradigms, habits that maybe you don't even know you have because they're subconscious. And it's going to make you a magnet subconsciously to start creating a reality because subconscious mind controls 95% of our life. So it's free. It's my gift to you. Just let me know in the comments what cool things happen to you just as a way to pay it back to me. I love to hear those. They make me happy. So it's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments in the description right there down below. Okay, now, let me just say, sometimes it can be hard to not get stuck in the contemplation of the sinking of things or the contemplation of the stinking of things. In other words, sometimes we get in a rut, right? Sometimes like life's just hard or things happen or things just keep happening and it just kind of wears on us. And it's happened to me. It does happen to me. And so let me just say that first of all. But here's the thing. Being in a rut, by definition, is being in the contemplation of the stinking of things. Or in other words, it is being in the contemplation of the absence of your desire. For example, let's say you're Susie and you want more money. You've been in debt. You haven't been able to go on the vacations, your family, your kids, whatever. And it hasn't worked out. Your current reality is you in debt or you being underpaid at your job, and it's the same old thing. Your desire is two things: the presence or the absence of it. So your attention can be focused on the absence of what you want or the presence of what you want. You could be focused all the time subconsciously on the fact that you are in debt and you have this bill and it still hasn't happened yet and the money still hasn't come. And I watched this video by this stupid guy, Jake, and he said all these things and none of them are happening, and that would be, as Thomas Troward said, the law of flotation is not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. That would be focused on the sinking of things. Well, what you want is really two things: the presence or the absence of what you want. You cannot control the minute details of linear time and when and how things happen, but you have total control over your attention and where you put it. And normally our five senses are designed to be a feedback loop based off of our current environment. And then that causes our consciousness, our attention, our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings to be a reflection of our current reality. So then we are thinking and feeling at the level of our environment, which continues to keep us in the contemplation of the absence of what we want, in the contemplation of the things that stink, the stinking of things. So what we need to do is remove ourselves, our consciousness, our spirit, our free will from the confines of the current reality. And the first step to do that is to understand that we have free will to accept or reject any ideas, any energy, and any information, which means I'm in debt. I don't have what I want. I haven't attracted my soulmate. The last relationships haven't worked out. Catching our mind and saying, thank you, but that's not part of my belief system. You can comment that down below. That's not part of my belief system. That's not part of my belief system. Comment that down below. Say that to yourself, because that becomes the tool that starts to give you control over your mind. Your consciousness, your nervous system, your thoughts, and your emotions are now no longer at the level of your current environment. They can now be in alignment with the contemplation of the presence of the things that you desire. So what I invite you to do is to put a do not disturb sign right on the center of your imagination. All day long, we are using our imagination. You are actually using your imagination when your current reality has things that you do not want and you project them into your future. You don't have the money you want, so you assume it'll be like that in a month, in 2 months, it'll be the same thing. That is you using your imagination destructively. We don't realize as adults, we think we quit using our imagination. We're actually imagining things all day long. All present facts were once imagined. Every present fact. Think about it. The phone, the computer, the house you're in, that is created by an architect or a developer. What are they? They're somebody that uses their imagination to engineer things. Every single thing is built by imagination. So the future is determined by the current state of your imagination. So put a do not disturb sign on your imagination. This is your private territory. This is your spiritual domain. And it is the most important thing in your entire existence as a spiritual being in a physical body. Now, for me, like I said, it's easier said than done. And the reason for that is in part because 95% of our life is subconsciously. It's below the level of consciousness. It was programmed into us since childhood. Everything changed for me once I understood this, and I started to reprogram my subconscious mind. So what I did, I was 20 years old. I wanted to be a big published author. Nothing was working. I was focused on the contemplation of the stinking of things. All the publishing companies said no, I couldn't get my book going, all this stuff. And that's where my mind was. So I read Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I thought, wow, if this is true, I could reprogram my subconscious mind, and then everything's going to change in my reality. Right? That's like deleting all the old software on the computer and installing the new operating system so it starts working more efficiently. Your mind, your brain, your subconscious is that computer, and you have to delete the viruses and install a new operating system. So what I did is I created a success hypnosis for myself, and I started brainwashing myself, because we're all brainwashed, we're all hypnotized. It is a state of hypnosis for everything that we do. Everything. Hypnosis isn't something where you just sit in a chair and somebody hypnotizes you. We are hypnotized. How much money you make is a state of hypnosis. Who you attract into your life is a state of hypnosis. Your relationships are a state of hypnosis. How you feel about yourself, your health, how your body feels, if it has vitality, if it has energy, what you eat, if you exercise, all of this is hypnosis loops. So we have to consciously insert and reprogram ourselves and hypnotize ourselves to the reality that we want. So what I did is I created this success hypnosis. I started listening to it every day. I told myself that I give my talents with love. I'm wonderfully blessed financially, which is me getting in the contemplation of the presence of my desire. Before, instead of I give my talents with love, I'm wonderfully blessed financially, which, by the way, comment that down below. I give my talents with love. I'm wonderfully blessed financially. I give my talents with love. I'm wonderfully blessed financially. Instead of doing that, I'd be like, why do I keep working and it's not working out? Boom. Immediately, I am sucked back into the law of flotation was not discovered by the contemplation of the sinking of things. So I had to take control of that. And the way that I did that is just by hypnotizing myself, so it became automatic. So here's what I did. Every morning and every night, I would listen to my success hypnosis. I have a free version of it. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments. It's in the description down below. I listen to it every day. And then I'd pull out a pen and pad and I would write in the present tense, because the subconscious mind only receives information in the present tense. And I would make essentially a future journal entry about my life in the future. I was contemplating the future instead of the current reality while I was in a trance-like state due to listening to my hypnosis. So I had direct access to my subconscious. I read about how my books were translated in other languages. I was published by big publishing companies. My books were in bookstores. My YouTube channel went viral. I was getting paid to speak at big companies. And I would just do that every single day. It'd take me a couple minutes. I listen to it, then I write it. Then the last thing I do is I'd read it out loud. So I'm engaging my brain, my senses. I'm activating cells in my brain. I'm reinforcing the neural networks that I just established. Take me 5-10 minutes. I personally would do it in the morning and again at night, but just doing it once a day for a couple minutes. I know you're busy. Everyone's busy. Things started changing. And by the time I was 21, that first book I couldn't get published. I sold 10,000 copies of it, self-published in 2012 when self-publishing wasn't even a thing, out of the trunk of my car. Then Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, gave me a multi-book deal, started paying me a bunch of money. My books got translated into other languages. Before I know it, I'm getting a check from South Korea. I'm like holding up a picture of my book in South Korean. I'm getting pictures of people in bookstores seeing my books on the shelf. Like my YouTube channel went, all these things started happening. And I didn't do much different, but I changed what was going on inside. Because, as Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I changed how I looked at them. I no longer saw them as an immovable force. I saw them as a reflection of my old state of consciousness. And I saw them as a temporary thing that was changing and would be changing shortly due to the natural laws of the universe, now that I was operating on a new frequency, a new level of awareness, a new level of consciousness. And then my reality started changing. So I invite you to give it a try. My name is Jake with JakeDucey.com. Wishing you a beautiful day. If you haven't yet, make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, bell notification, check out my free success hypnosis, jakeshypnosis.com. Give me a comment down below that says, I am worthy of everything that I desire. I am worthy of everything that I desire. You are worthy of it. But the important thing is to give it to yourself. And the way that you give it to yourself is to reprogram the old patterns and is to stop the loop of contemplating the stinking of things in your life. And you owe that to yourself. And don't beat yourself up if you haven't been doing it, because it's just the way our minds are programmed. It's just that now we know we can press pause on that record player, we can insert a new tape, and we can start playing a new soundtrack. And that's when everything changes.